Hello, welcome to Scratch 3D Printing. In this video, I'll be testing retraction. Does it matter for stringing? Let's scratch today's topic. People are saying that retraction helps solve stringing on the 3D printed part like this. But is that true? Or is it just the filament that is just bad, or the 3D printer setting is not correct? I haven't really do a stringing test in a long time now, and the things that I print turns out great. I don't really have to change much. But then for this experiment, I decided to not use any retraction, and here are the results that I found. So what caused stringing, based on my experience and the testing that I did, is that when a nozzle is jumping from a point to another point, if you don't have any retraction, it does not move the bed down, or if it's a bed slinger, it does not move the nozzle up. But for me, I did my test on the K1 Max, and it's a Core XY, so when it retracts, the bed goes down a little bit, and then it goes to the next point, and then the bed is going to go back up. And that also helps prevent the oozing from the nozzle to be stuck onto the filament, just like this part right here. So I have a tab right here. This is my first test, and I did not do any retraction on this. And here's the result. As you can see here, there's not that much string except these things right here. I don't really think that these are stringing. Stringing is a little bit different for me, and these aren't really stringing. From my testing, I found that these are just ooze from filament. The filament drips down from the nozzle because it's hot and the filament is coming out slowly. Even though the motor is not pushing any filament, the filament was the ooze from the nozzle, and it results in this printing. This one is my next test. So I did a 0.3mm retraction and a 10mm per second retraction speed. And here's the result that I got. It looks really clean, except you can see here, there is a little bit here of string here. And when I did this test, it was a brand new spool of filament. I used Elegoo PETG for this test, and that was a brand new filament that I just bought and opened and put it into my 3D printer. Well, during the process of printing all of these, I did use a filament dryer from Fix Dry. I'll leave links down below if you are interested in things that I say in this video. But here's the result that I got. There's a little bit of here or stringing right here. Now these are what I call stringing. And this leads to moisture. From my year of 3D printings, I never really think that moisture will have effect on your 3D printed parts or stringing. Sometimes in some companies just make filament worse than others. Some of the filament that I got in my years are very brittle, and some other filament are not as good quality, and the layer are not sticky as well. Some of the filament that I printed, you can basically take layers by layer off of the 3D printed parts. It's not sticky well to each other. And so I did not think that moisture will have effect on your 3D printed parts. But after this test here, moisture does have effect on the 3D printed parts. Third test of the same filament, everything the same, but this time it's a 1mm retraction, but the speed is still 10mm per second. And it results in this a little bit better than the previous version. There's still a little bit here stringing right here, but the rest of them are looking good. I think the reason why there's only one part here that has string is that it's facing away from the side fan of the K1 Max, and it kind of results in stringing, but these can just be blown away by the blowtorch, and it looks really good. Comes back to moisture retraction. Does retraction really help with stringing, and or moisture help with stringing? The next filament that I use is still from Elegoo PETG. I want to use the same brand to see if the results are consistent. And this is the first print test that I did on my K1 Max. But this time this filament was out in my room for like over 2 months now, and I think it did absorb lots of moisture. But I also did test this on the K1 Max. I did not use the Fix Dry this time. I just want to see what happens if you just print it with no filament dry, and this is the results. As you can see here, no retraction at all. No Z-hop, no retraction. As you can see, a brand new filament with filament dryer is looking like this. And this one with nothing, moisture, no drying. It looks really similar. It has these things that's sticking out. These are just oozing from the nozzle with no retraction, with no Z-hop. It just ooze, and the ooze sticks on the filament. The filament sticks onto this part right here. And so once I figured out that, Okay, the bed is not moving down, there's no Z-hop. The filament on the nozzle is getting onto the parts and making that little stairway. For the next print is this print right here. Ooh, as you can really see, it's like so bad. Okay, there we go, the camera picked it up. There we go, it's so stringy. Plus with all these stairway, I don't know what those are called, but for this part, the setting is this. It's really weird, but the retraction length I set it to 0.00001, which is basically no retraction at all. And then the Z-hop, I leave at normal 0.2mm Z-hop. I use orcaslicers for all of this tests, and I figured out that if you put retraction to 0, it will automatically disable Z-hop, so there's no Z-hop. So that's what I did, 0.00001, which is like basically no retraction at all, and that enables the Z-hop. So the Z-hop is still 0.2mm, and here's the results. It's like so bad. It has a combination of both these oozing filament and stringing. These are actual stringings. These are what I call stringing. It's so bad. Moisture plus little bit of traction. Z-hop is like the worst combination you can ever get. Did another test with the same filament, and now I did a proper retraction, proper Z-hop, and this is the result. There's no extra oozing filament that's sticking out from the 3D print part, but from the filament being out for way too long, it does cause some really bad stringing here. And if you look at this one is the same filament from the same company, but have moisture, and this one has minimum stringing, minimum moisture, and with a filament dryer you can get pretty good with no stringing. But with none of that, you get parts like this, lots of stringing here, really bad. These are tough strings. And so here are all the 3D print parts side by side. This first one is no retraction at all, and it has these things that ooze from the nozzle. The next one right here has the proper retraction, Z-hop and stuff, and it prints really good, no stringing. The next one has a longer retraction length, and it also prints really nice. All of these wet parts has a filament dryer while printing. And now the great part, has been out for a couple months, absorbs moisture, no dryer while printing. And this first one has no retraction. You can see that it has these stairwell or whatever these are called, ooze from the nozzle. This next one has basically no retraction but Z-hop, and it's the result of both world. It has these ooze from the nozzle and really bad stringing. And the last one here has the proper retraction, but it still has lots of moisture, so it results in very stringy. So now you can see good proper filament, drying, retraction gives you really good results. Filament that has been out for way too long, moisture, no retraction, gives you these kind of results. Even with proper setting, still has lots of strings. So to answer the big question, does retraction help with stringing? Yes, it does. A proper retraction setting does help with stringing on the 3D printed parts. Also, you have to consider lots and lots of things. I did not consider this before. Moisture, if your filament is out for a long time, absorb lots of moisture, then it does result in very hairy stringing of the 3D printed parts, even if it has the proper retraction setting. Temperature, nozzle, fan speed, and all of those has a play and stringing. But for this experiment here, I found that retraction and drying your filament during printing is like the best way to prevent stringing. Well, that answers my question, and hopefully that answers your question too. Does retraction help stringing? For me, it's a yes. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you still have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you still have these questions, retraction help with stringing, temperature with layer bonding and stuff like that, let me know what I should do next on my next experiment for these 3D printed things. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel because amazing videos like this is coming all the time. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep on 3D printing.